Hi there everybody, and welcome to part 4, the final part of my video harmonica lesson on Three Little Birds by Bob Marley. And in this part of the lesson, I'm going to hopefully guide you through the processes that will enable you to improvise a little bit as you're playing your performance of Three Little Birds. Now, I've pitched this lesson deliberately at those people for whom improvisation is a little bit of a daunting subject. You may not have done any improvising before, or perhaps just a little bit, and you're a little bit unsure or a little bit sort of intimidated by the idea of making something up on the spot. So I'm going to try and hopefully guide you through that. Now, in Three Little Birds, the scale that I'm going to base all of my improvisations on, and the scale that I want you to learn, is the major pentatonic scale. So have a look at the tab and let's just play it through this way first of all. Now you're going to need to practice that until the pattern of blow and draw notes begins to become a little bit sort of automatic. You don't have to think about it too much. Once you've kind of mastered that, you could then move on to perhaps playing it like this. It's only a slight difference. And again, just get really used to playing up and down the scale. Now, the third part of stage 1 is to just really familiarise yourself with the scale. And I think a good way to do that would be to put the backing track on and just play up and down the scale, and then try sort of messing around with the scale a little bit. I'll give you a little bit of an example. Now you'll see that rather than just playing up and down the scale, up and down the scale, up and down the scale, I started to take little bits of the scale and change the rhythms and just really immerse myself in the scale as I was listening to the backing track. Now that's stage 1, so you're going to need to take some time to practice that. For stage 2, I've tabbed out an idea that you could learn to play over the introduction before the drum roll leads us into the chorus. So I'll play it through for you first of all. So that little idea has got 3 separate phrases in it. The first one, so you can learn that. And then the second one, learn that. And then the third one. Now, once you've done that, why don't you try then looking at the major pentatonic scale and see if you can come up with your own little introduction idea. And again, break it down into little chunks. Have a go at that, and then we'll move on to stage 3. Stage 3 is where I want you to try and see if you can develop some little ideas that you can use as improvisations when the second chorus comes around. Remember, the arrangement is intro, chorus, verse, and then chorus again, and then the ending. And I think the best place to improvise is in that second chorus. I think after the intro, you want to play the chorus and the verse straight, first of all, so that people will know that you're performing the song. And then you can play around with it a little bit in the second chorus. The way I want to try and help you to do this is I'd like you to try and think like a vocalist and how you might improvise as a singer as you are singing that second chorus. So for instance, instead of going, "Don't worry," you might go, "Don't worry." And then you've got to try and find where that is on the harmonica. It'll be within that major pentatonic scale. So, "Don't worry." I found the note straight away there. And then for the second one, "About a thing." That's how it's actually sung the first time round. Second time, "About a thing." About a thing. Now, I know I'm finding these things quite quickly. It might take you longer to do that, but it's going to be a great way of training your ear as well. 'Cause every little thing. So how could we improvise that? 'Cause every little thing gonna be alright. That's, I think, a good way of coming up with some little ideas. And you can always write them down. You know, we're not expecting you to commit all this to memory and then just to be able to play it without any problem at all. You know, try to make life easier for yourself. I know that the real meaning of improvisation is making things up on the spot, but you've got to get to that stage first of all. So writing things down, working things out is absolutely fine. In stage 4 then, we're going to try and put some of those improvisations into the performance. So I've set up the backing track at around about 1 minute, which is just towards the end of the verse, leading into the second chorus. And I'm going to try and improvise some little ideas based on thinking about being a singer and just doing some little vocal improvisations around the words. Now remember, there are no rights or wrongs to this. If you play something through and you think, "Oh no, that sounds terrible," don't worry about it. Have another go. And over time, I think you'll find that you can develop ideas which sound pretty good. So do have a go at this and then see if you can put together a performance of Three Little Birds with a little bit of improvisation in there as well. And hopefully you'll get a great big round of applause when you feel confident enough to play it in front of some other people. Let me know how you get on.